Hello folks, welcome to Martin's Kitchen up here in Ralstown. Hope you're all keeping well. Today we've got probably the most simplest of recipes for you to make. It's wheaten bread. Anybody could do it, honestly, anybody could do it. I did one a good few months ago, wheaten bread recipe video. It was a wee bit more complicated and I thought to myself, why complicate things? This here is simple, there's not many ingredients. It's so quick to make. It takes about 35-40 minutes to cook, but you wouldn't believe how easy this is to make. 5 to 10 minutes will make this. I can have this done in 5 minutes if I have all the ingredients out, but I'll go through the process so it'll be a wee bit longer. So listen here, it's so simple. All we've got here is coarse wholemeal flour, 250 grams. Plain flour, 250 grams. 25 grams of castor sugar. And then we're just going to put in a good teaspoon, good heaped teaspoon of bicarbonate soda. Just a wee bit extra for that. So it's just a good teaspoon of bicarbonate soda. Bicarbonate soda is important with the buttermilk. The acid in the buttermilk, gives it that sort of wee bit of a rise. It's quite a heavy bread, but it just gives it that wee bit of a lightness. So there's the dry ingredients. A wee pinch of salt. Not too much. Just a wee pinch of salt. So that's all the dry. I say these have to be quite accurate. The buttermilk, we're going to play about with it. Generally about 350 mils of buttermilk will make this. But these two buttermilks, I bought them on separate days and one of them is thicker than the other. So sometimes it might take 300 mils, sometimes it might take 400. But as a rule, sort of maybe 300 to 350. So dry ingredients, so they're all in there. And then 25 grams of butter. It can be unsalted, it can be ordinary butter, whatever you've got. So this is so easy. What I've done is I've set the oven to 210. So we're going to give it 10 minutes at a high temperature. And then we're going to turn it down to 180 and give it 35 minutes to finish. And I'll show you just a wee tip of how if you want a hard crust or a soft crust. But anyway, we'll get started. So all the dry ingredients, and then just that, you don't even need to grate the butter here because we have so little. Just rub it in. It takes a few seconds to rub that bit in. And if you wanted to, you could add a handful of porridge oats in there. It just gives it a wee bit of extra texture. So that's it rubbed in. That's everything. All the dry ingredients ready with the butter. So now we're going to just put a wee bit of flour on your work surface. So, right, we're just going to put about half that in now. So that's about 125. And we're just going to mix it around just with the fingers. And you'll see sort of starting to come together into lumps. So again, another bit. So that was 250 mils in there. And you're halfway through the making of the bread. So that was a full 250. And as I say, it will probably take another 150. So what we'll do here, we'll just make it be dexterous and measure it another 100. It mightn't take it all, it might take a wee bit extra. See, that is thinner than that first one I used. That's important when you use buttermilk, just give it a shake because it does sort of slightly separate. We're nearly there, it's starting to come together in one lump. There's still a wee dry bit at the bottom. But you want it slightly more wet than dry. So we'll just get this all together. Just a wee bit more. And your bowl should be reasonably clean when you've finished it. And I say it's not too sticky. I'm just going to put a tiny wee bit more in there. So I would say that's 250. That's 350 mils in there, and that's enough. I say it's come together in one ball. So there we go. That's your bread made. That is how easy it is. Just clean the fingers. So what this is important now. Just get flour right into the sort of palms in your hands. And so I'll just show you. I've got pizza stone. I've just lightly floured it. I say the oven's set, so just probably no more than 10-15 sort of kneads. Just bring it together so you've got a sort of smooth top. You don't want to over knead it, but you just want to sort of, there's a happy medium between, you know, looking too rough. And then just tuck it in at the bottom, just your hands in like that, just tuck it in, keep turning it around, and you get a sort of smoothish bottom. So that's it. That is your wheaten bread made. So just get it as round as you can. And then what we're going to do is just put it onto the pizza stone. And then just with the knife, just cut it into 4. You don't want to cut it too deep, because it will rise and it'll spread open. Cut it into 4. And then just that small bit of coarse flour that you've left back, just give it a wee sprinkle. And that's it. That is how easy. That was 6 or 7 minutes, and if I hadn't been talking, you could have had that done in less than 5 minutes. So just get as much flour, just give my hands a quick wipe. So what we'll do, we'll pop this in the oven for 10 minutes at 210, and then we'll turn it down for the next 30-35 minutes, down to 180, and we'll come back to it. But we'll show you what it's like when it's ready, and then when it does come out of the oven, I'll show you what to do if you want a softer crust, because the crust can be quite hard on this. Okay, so 10 minutes in the oven, and we'll come back to it after 10 minutes and then turn the oven down, okay? Okay folks, so it's had 10 minutes at a 210 degrees. I'll just show you what it looks like. I mean, it's still virtually raw, but it's risen a wee bit. It's taken on a small bit of colour, but you can see how nice this is going to look. I mean, it's another half hour, 35 minutes away from being ready. So again, we'll just pop it back in, and we'll turn the oven down to 180, and we'll time that for 30. We'll come back 30 minutes, might take 35, but overall maybe 40-45 minutes. So okay folks, so it's had 45 minutes. So something should have said at the beginning, if you're making it quite shallow, it'll probably only take 30-35 minutes, but that mine was sort of 4 inches deep, so it was 45 minutes in there, and I turned the oven off and I left it for another 5 minutes. So if you want to have a look at it now, it's a lovely colour. You want that sort of nice golden brown colour there, and you can tell it's ready. You just tap it in the bottom, it's hollow, it's roasting. I don't know if you can pick up that sort of hollow, but right, if you want it to sort of a nice hard crust, just put that on a cooling rack for half an hour and it'll be lovely. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clean tea towel, just wrap it in the clean tea towel for about 15 minutes. Just leave it there. It sort of softens the crust. It is a good idea if you don't want the crust too hard. And you can almost see the sort of condensation on the board already. But 15-20 minutes in that tea towel, we'll come back, we'll cut a slice off it, we'll put a big slab of butter on it, and we'll give it a try. Here we go. This is the finished product. Lovely colour on it, and it's cooked the whole way through. And what I did, as I said, I wrapped it in a cloth because I wanted a sort of a softer crust, and then after 10-15 minutes just took it out, put it in the cooling rack. It's still warm, but I'm going to cut a slice off it, put some butter on it. Butter might melt, but that's fine. So you'll hear the crust, the crunch on this here. I just take a wee bit off, and then one slice. If you want to look at that, even the smell of it, there's a wee nutty smell to it. It's still a wee bit warm to butter, but I'm going to butter it anyway because I can't wait. I say it is so simple to do. Just a very, very quick recap. 250 plain flour, 250 coarse wholemeal flour, a big teaspoon of bicarbonate soda, 25 grams of sugar, 25 grams of butter, and approximately 350 mils of buttermilk. and a pinch of salt. And that's it. It is so easy to make. So anyway, I'm going to give it a I can smell it here. It is lovely. And this with poached eggs and bacon and beautiful. It is so worth it. The crust isn't too hard, but the texture in it's nice and soft in the middle. And that would be lovely. Just some cheese, some wheaten bread and cheese, bit of pickle, poached eggs, scrambled eggs, jam, Marmite. And listen, it's endless what you can do with it. So just cut it into quarters, cut it in halves, wrap it in tin foil. Keep it, it'll last a couple of days, but it mightn't last that long when you start to eat it. So that's it, folks. Simplest wheaten bread you'll ever make. 5 to 10 minutes making it. 45 minutes maybe cooking it, depending on the depth you sort of press it. And that's it. Give it a go and let me know how it goes. Okay, thank you, bye.